Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about what I wore today. Do a little trip down memory lane, but not at first. We'll get into that. Escape for Men by Calvin Klein. So let's get into the non-rose colored, how do I say it? I'm going to just talk about the fragrance itself and then give you some memories with it because, at heart, this is first and foremost, cologne, fragrance, review, I hate saying review, but just my thoughts on a cologne. And secondly, and almost important, is this is a nostalgia channel, and I think you guys like that. Some of you do, some of you don't. But, time marches on. Time doesn't sit still for any of us. We can't beat the clock. And, you think about stuff when you're younger and when you were younger and how you've changed over the years. And anyway, that's kind of what this channel is, secondary. And it's hard for me to talk about something like this without going into the 90s when I was a teenager and stuff. But I want to give you an unbiased kind of, like I said, non-nostalgic, no rose-colored glasses talk about this fragrance. And it's, I'm going to try to keep it quick and to the point. Escape for Men by Calvin Klein. Some of the notes are melon, eucalyptus, mango, citrus, sea notes, birch, cypress, moss, and vetiver. Right away, I am hit when I first put it on. A sweet, not overly sweet, but a fruity, sweet, fresh, watery type vibe. And a bit of a green note. I'm not sure where it could be the eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is also giving it a bit of that lift, almost a tiny bit of a menthol feel, working with the aquatic notes in it. It's really, really fresh off the top. And it keeps that freshness into the mid, but it starts to become more green and woody. With the birch, the cypress, and the moss kind of coming out more. Actually, they become pretty prevalent, honestly, a little bit into the mid. And then into a base of a woody, fresh, clean, kind of moss and vetiver mostly. And yeah, that's kind of the scent, guys. Honestly, it's not a bad scent. More than wearable today, especially in the summertime. It's fresh, fruity, sweet, woody, and green. I mean, that's the best I can say it. Light too. Lighter than it used to be. It used to be, it was never a beast fragrance. It used to be pretty good, which brings me to application and performance. I went a little heavy with it. I went 4 on my moisturizer, 3 on my neck, or 4 on my neck, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 on my chest, shirt on, 2 on my shirt, and 2 in each crink of the elbow. So I went pretty heavy with it, and I still only got about 3 to 4 hours out of this. I'm definitely going to say reformulated. Still smells the same for the most part, but performance is not near as what I remember anyway. And, projection, 45 minutes to an hour, light projection, a little under an hour, arm length. Comes in, gives you a light bubble for about an hour and a half. And, second. Sorry, I had a movie on pause and I forgot that my pause stops after a little bit and starts playing again. So anyway, yeah, like I said, about an hour and a half. Slight bubble. You do pick up whiffs and wafts, but not a whole lot. It's very light. Leaves a light trail, but nobody's really gonna, unless they're close to you, gonna be able to really smell it. And for half hour, an hour, it's kind of a skin scent and then gone. Time to reapply. As I was saying though, still wearable. Now it's time to kind of take off or put the rose-colored glasses back on. And, compliment factor. I didn't get any, but again, it was only me and a couple people at work, and we're working in sections, 20-foot sections. So really didn't expect it to. So But it is a compliment getting fragrance. Like I said, it's slightly sweet, green, aromatic, fresh, aquatic, whatever you want to call it. Though it doesn't smell like the ocean, it's just got a watery feel to it. So it will get you compliments. Perfectly wearable nowadays, like I said. It's not... Oh, that smell brings me back to the 90s, though. And like I said, here comes the glasses, the 90s. This stuff was a holy grail for the longest time for me. And not because... I said in a video I talked about this when I got it. I've seen it 100 times, if not more, in stores. And there was always something else. I went in, oh yeah, this is, I'm going, oh, I'll get this instead. One day I just said, you know what, no, I've been wanting this for years. I have an old little bottle of it. It was just one of the ones that I never really got around to getting, but I wore a couple dupes when I was younger because I couldn't afford the real thing, right? And yeah, for me, like it smells like the 90s. And some people get, I don't want to say offended, but they get a little like, I don't know what that means. Smells like the 90s. It's generally people who weren't around in the 90s or weren't wearing fragrances in the 90s for the most part, or they're only wearing one or two. But those of you who know what I mean. The 90s for me was, well, there was other fragrances out there, but for the most part, the 90s for me were these types of fragrances. Fresh, aromatic, a lot of aquatic vibes, slightly sweet, slightly spicy, green. This just smells like the 90s to me. You know, it's an underrated Calvin Klein. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Escape. Not because there's no, I mean, I shouldn't say there isn't any. I don't know of any flankers to Escape. I'm sure there's got to be one at least, but I'm not aware of it. Whereas Escape gets a flanker every few months. Obsession gets a flanker every few months. I mean, they haven't really done it. Maybe it's time for them to come out with a new Escape. You know, Escape Eau de Parfum, and just, you don't even have to really change the formula. Just make it stronger. I think it would do all right. But yeah, the rose-colored glasses, guys. This is, for me, I love. I really enjoy this fragrance. It just brings me back to junior high area and high school. And, you know, back to when I had I had a shoebox. I would have been about 15 or 16 at the oldest. And I had my Fahrenheit in there. I had Wings. I can't remember if I had Jupe by then or not. I think I got Jupe a little later, but it might have been there. And then I had a few Coty ones, you know, Preferred Stock, Gravity. I believe I had Universo by Coty in there too. And I had Raw Vanilla by Coty. And then I had a few. I had Polo Sport dupe from Belcam. All Belcams. Polo Sport, Polo, Eternity, Escape, Drakkar. Yeah. And now, you know, so I had 10, 12 fragrances. And I remember looking at that when I was younger thinking, wow, I'm never going to need another fragrance my whole life. I got so much, and look at me now. So, but yeah, it just always brings back those types of memories for me. So, would I recommend getting it? Not for like retail price, no. Although retail on this was only $20, so if you can pick it up for $20, if you remember this from the 90s and you want a nostalgic hit, most definitely for $20, just to have a nostalgic kick to it, and you'll like it still, you'll wear it still. But honestly, if you have no affinity for 90s fragrances or affinity for Escape, you might just want to, not because it smells bad, it's just, like I said, it performs more like an aftershave now, or a light eau de cologne, than an actual eau de toilette type fragrance, which it is, I believe, unless they change the... No, eau de toilette, yeah. It's a very weak eau de toilette. So you might want to give it a try. I wouldn't go out and buy it. Again, unless you get it for $10. I mean, what's that? A cup of coffee and a donut now? I mean, So the choice is yours. I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have an affinity for 90s fragrance or Calvin Klein fragrances or Escape in general. Really, you don't have a need to, but if you want to try something just to really see what the 90s smelled like, you know, there's a few fragrances I could recommend. Tommy Hilfiger, of course, Cool Water, Michael Jordan comes to mind, and pretty much any Calvin Klein, but especially Escape. Escape was probably the biggest at one point in the early to mid 90s. And yeah, I don't know why they haven't done anything with Escape lately. It always seems to be Eternity or, well, obviously it's sales, but I would just like to see them come out with something. You know, like I said, Escape Eau de Parfum. Hell, at this point, I'll even take an Escape Elixir. I mean, just keep the fragrance the same, you know, tweak it a little bit, but, you know, because like I said, and if you're just looking for a fresh, easy to wear, slightly sweet, aromatic, woody fragrance, you don't mind the 3 or 4 hours you're going to get out of it and the weak projection and sillage. You just kind of want something to wear around outside your deck or whatever, a barbecue. Yeah, but realistically, there's other stuff out there. So, recommend it? Yes and no. It's the best way I can describe it. So, again, rose-colored glasses, absolutely get it, buy it. You know, realistically, maybe not. Not that it's bad. It's just, there's other stuff out there, especially for newer, younger taste, that might be a little better. Although this doesn't smell old or anything. It's not barbershoppy or anything like that. Or old manny 80s fragrance. It's, you know, pretty good still today. Just really weak, you know. So, all right, guys, that's it. Tell me what you think about Escape. You agree or disagree? Do you think it's still wearable like I do? Do you have a connection to it? If you do, send me a story. I love stories. Yeah, that's it, guys. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.